Hey!
This is On the Bench with the two Johnnies with Board Gosh Energy. The summer's heating up now. Make the most of it with some new solar panels from today's sponsor, Board Gosh Energy. Save up to €1,000 and get a free BER cert. Board Gosh Energy. Know your power.
Hello.
You're welcome to On the Bench, a 6-part podcast series with some of the biggest legends in the GAA.
I'm Johnny B.
And I'm Johnny Smacks.
Each week we are joined by stars from the world of hurling and football who will answer the same 7 questions about pre-season, career highlights and life in the dressing room.
On the Bench this week, he was part of one of the great Mayo teams, winning 5 Connacht championships and an all-star along the way. Welcome to the podcast, Conor Mortimer. How are you, Mark?
Lads, how are we getting on? All good?
Unbelievable.
Not bad. Thanks for having me.
Not a bother, you're looking sharp, lad.
Coming from work. It's not an everyday.
He made the effort for us.
It's not every day, Tyre. You'll find.
Fair play. You're keeping well, you're looking well, and that brings us on to our first question. Pre-season. What was the toughest pre-season you reckon you ever put down?
I had to think about it actually for a couple of days. We've had a few tough ones over the years. It'd have to be with John Mahon. I would have to attribute back in the day. I think it was back in 04, 05 or around that time. We used to go to Balik and Ballina. It's like a cross-country track, essentially, where all the school cross-countries would take place. Down on a Saturday morning. I think it might be maybe a mile and a half of a uphill, downhill, in trees, in woods and muck and gutter and all that kind of stuff. And it wouldn't be 1 or 2. You do one, might be 5.5 minutes, a couple of minutes break, do another one. I think we had Saturdays there, maybe 7, 8 of them runs.
Jeez.
In a run through an early season.
And was John Mahon just wearing a small
he'd always have the shorts in the middle of the winter, that'd be John. No, it was kind of an army style of pre-season, effectively, to see your fitness would be in the way your facial expressions would be. You'd be burned, you'd be bollocks, essentially, excuse the language, but but the one thing I suppose, and I was only saying it today, like, you wouldn't get a player to do it today, like, not a hope.
Why?
No, they wouldn't do it. Not a notion would they do it. No.
Because of the muck and dirt or what?
It's old school in terms of it's like it could be a third year session would just be running.
Yeah.
Players won't do it today. It's sports science, all that kind of stuff. It's not. No, wouldn't be privy to the way the game is played.
Boys would probably be worried about getting injured now.
They would, of course.
Do you know, like, they're like the way they mind themselves now. Like, I think there's more regard for.
And ultimately, it's like, we used to do it. We were very, very fit.
Yeah.
Very, very fit side. And to be fair, I think part of that, like, we probably weren't the best football side, but we had so much belief in how fit we were, and we could run teams and stick with teams for, it gave us more belief when we went into matches. And we got to an Ireland final 04 with it, like, but, we had a good side, but we weren't one of the best sides in the country in that particular year. Like, but we just.
It's funny to hear you say that.
No, it's just the way it was. We were very, very strong.
Yeah.
We'd 2 or 3, very, very good players, like, and we had a lot of workers, like, and we were ultra fit. Jesus, we were a seriously fit side.
And is pre-season very different in 05 then, having lost an All-Ireland final?
With Mahon?
What?
More the same.
The old school way, like, it was, if you're looking for an extra yard or 2, that's where you want to get it.
Yeah.
So it's harder.
It's the same, just harder.
And the way it was then, if you played poorly on a Sunday, like, you knew you were getting it on a Tuesday. And it wasn't, like, today's game is measured by metrics and it's measured by data and all that stuff and how far you're running and, the training tops with the zones you're in and all that kind of stuff. Like, back then, as I said, it's like, if you're down on your hands and knees, like, you're getting somewhere, as opposed to what number you're at. That's just the way it was. And in fairness, a lot of our lads, you just went into it. You didn't mind doing it. You just did it, essentially.
You knew it had to be done.
You just did it. And we didn't have a huge amount of muscular injuries, like, at the time we were doing it. It was strange. We didn't. But I think I suppose it's like a lot of things in today's world. If there's more talk about it, there's more, it's like, I don't know, an example, I suppose, a cruise ship or whatever. Lads will tell you back in the day, like, they did this and they did that and they broke this and broke that, but there's, they never missed training, they never missed a match. Yeah. It's just different, like, you know what I mean? Or COVID, one of those things, you're getting a test now. So there's no COVID. So those type of things. But no, I think that was, we went to the Catskills one of the years for...
What's that?
It's New York, upstate New York. So we played New York in the championship in the first round.
Right.
Yeah.
Then went upstate for a week of training, essentially. It's called the Catskill Mountains. Just up there. It's kind of the middle of nowhere, essentially. it's up kind of typically past Rockland. You know, Rockland's up there. It's kind of up. It's in the midst of that area. But similar to that, like just dogging sessions, like really, really dogging sessions.
Jeez, most boys go to New York and they're right fucking piss up after the game.
No, look at it. And in fairness, you know, and it's probably gone off point a little bit, but even you see these preseason, the trainings they do now, the warm weather training and stuff.
Yeah.
When we started that, we had probably 6 nights over there, 6 nights out, 6 nights training. And essentially, if you could train, you go out and you train. And we did it every night. And there was only one fella in the few years that we did it who missed training. One lad, I won't name his name now, but one particular lad, he just slept in, couldn't get up out of bed. And he was sent home the following day.
Right.
Yeah.
So the manager didn't mind.
No, I didn't mind. As long as you're able to train.
What time was training this morning?
8, 9 o'clock.
Right, okay.
And you'd be getting home like, it'd be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, it wouldn't be early you'd be getting home. But that was at the start when we started doing pre-seasons. It's obviously different nowadays. Imagine to get
but
one
did the
night
warm weather, what was the result of the warm weather training then? Was it much use to you?
You sweat hard, you train hard. Yeah. It's not so much for fitness, it's more for kind of getting the group together and embedding a month's training in the space of a week. Yeah, you're doing 2 sessions a day, like in terms of tactics, and you're doing this, and you're doing that, and you're lifting weights, and it's just togetherness for a group. It creates a huge bond for teams, in fairness, like, and obviously the social.
The 2 pints together is no harm, to be honest. Like,
it's not. No, 6 nights out of 7 probably isn't great. But like, it's you know, and I think my first year or two, I don't even think I was drinking at that time. Like, which you were out, you know, it was different world. Like, and.
Did you see a change in pre-season from when you started to like your last couple of years? Or was it just still?
No, it would be, yeah. There was far more, it was very focused on physical running, like essentially at the start, where, you know, a lot of it is periodization and stuff as the years went on, you know what I mean? I was kind of going into college then doing sports science and I was learning about it in college anyway.
Yes.
But you were seeing, you know, how it was implemented and how it was done, and like the better teams back then, maybe, you know, the Kerrys, maybe Dublin in those particular years, then they would have had a sports scientist sort of full-time working with players, and they were seeing the benefits of that, where, you know, we might have had one full-time as such, you know, employed, as a man might say, but that kind of took off then, and you can see it now, like with the
I find it amazing that county managers would be like on a Monday night down the gym watching the boys, making sure they're doing their stuff.
Yeah, the trust, I suppose, you know, a lot of, I suppose that level is, you know, it can be control or it can be just to, you know, do you trust the guys? If it's someone with you 10 years, you know, he's going to oversee this group and they're going to do their job. But if it's a new guy in and, you know, you're trying to, I suppose it's one in all in at the highest level. That's just the nature of it.
Just on the team bonding stuff, was it unusual done at the very, very start of the year, like a new manager comes in or to try and bounce back from a loss or something? Was that unusual done as a get-together?
Not particularly, because there was always new lads coming in and some lads going out. It was always a mixed bunch. Like, and that was the funny thing, because if you're training, I think my 9, 10 or 11, 12 years at Mayo, like I would have had probably 3 or 4 lads all the way through, you know, as teammates or whatever it may be. But the change along the way would have been huge in terms of different guys coming in and different guys going out. And you knew the crack, obviously. It's a, you know, it's a high level, I suppose, environment.
Yeah.
Good enough, you stay. If you're not, it mightn't be necessarily football. It can be attitude or it can be off.
Yeah.
Things change, you know, life takes over some players. But in terms of, like, you know, this is the funny thing, and I think this is evident in later years. You know, you would obviously regard them as your buddies, like when you're playing, obviously, because, you know, you're there beside them. But when you finish, it's just like that, gone zero. You may have 1 or 2 you talk to bits and pieces, but, you know, in terms of, you know, you're literally 9 months of the year together, like back in the day, like when you're playing, for 9, 10 years, like.
Yeah.
And then when it's over, it's different.
It's just gone.
Like a shot, because everyone gets on their lives, their children, they work and whatever, and you don't.
And that's both ways. Like when you were still there, and other guys left, and then when you left, and guys you knew stayed. Both
essentially,
ways, total disconnect straight away.
And you're thinking, like, you'll always think you're good enough, and you'll always think you'll play. Like, you know what I mean? I know it's one of the questions later in terms of retiring and stuff like that. But I mean, you'll always think, like, you should be, or you should be still there.
Yeah.
Essentially, you know what I mean?
Talk to us about the dressing room. Like, when you went in, who's running the dressing room? Like, is there older players in there when you get in? And then, like, team talk wise, were you one of those players that, like, I want a fella roaring, stripping paint off the wall, banging tables, or were you laid back?
You know what? When I started, I went training with Mayo when I was probably 16, 17, when Kenneth was playing.
Your brother.
Yeah, your brother, yeah.
So I went in training with them at that time.
Were you called in, or did you just tag along?
No, I was tagging along for a while, and then
and the Mayo footballers let you.
I was started to get at training myself, like, you know what I mean. Now I could kick a ball, like, obviously, you know what I mean.
Hang on, were you 16 and your brother was on the panel and you would talk out?
He was starting.
Yeah, sorry.
He was a cornerback at the time. That was going back to 95, 96 times, and I think it was 17. I was second year minor. And then I was actually training. So Morris Sheridan used to come down from UCG and pick me up in Shrewell on the way to Tormakeedy for training. You know, that was Morris Sheridan, Kerry McDonald, Kenneth, Colin McManaman, all the older guys, Pat Holmes, John Casey. And they were in All-Irelands that time.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, in that type of dressing room you're a lamb, essentially, in that dressing room. You're not a voice. You're just there to train. Now, you know, the one thing about it takes, you know, you need to be confident when you're down there because you're out training with them, obviously. You know, you don't want to be, you know, I might have been scoring, could have been at club level at that time at underage, like 2-8, 2-10, pretty much every week, every game, you know what I mean? So obviously it's a different environment. Yeah. And you're kind of going in thinking, well, you know, I'm not going to do the same, but I won't be too hard off it if I get myself right, like, you know what I mean? And training was fine. You know, I don't know if they were going easy on me or whatever like that, but I was doing fine at training and getting stuck in or whatever. I didn't tog for them in that first year in 99. And then obviously the following year I did. 2000 was my first year. Was it Pat Holmes as manager my first year? I think it was Holmesy. Holmesy was there. He was with Trevor and that. And there was obviously, the dressing room then was pretty strong.
So your two brothers are on the panel.
Two brothers, they're well on it.
You're starting.
They're well on it. By the time I got on it, Kenneth the two All-Stars, the cornerback. By the time I got on the panel.
Still, it must be class to be playing with your two brothers, like.
Yeah, and we only managed to play one game. I think it was a league.
All three?
Yeah.
Only one game?
Yeah.
Jason, you think of it?
In championship. I don't know what game
Did you ever mark Kenneth at trend?
Yeah, regularly.
Would he
regularly, yeah. Yeah, I would, yeah. Probably one of the only ones that I would have probably struggled to get the better of, even at, like I would have marked him a lot at club level even, in Shrewell training and that. Like, no, he'd be thumping and pulling. And he wasn't one, he wouldn't like a fella, you know, one rings around him. Like, essentially, no. He was tough.
Did you ever have to be separated?
No, I wouldn't. No.
We two brothers.
Over the bar and gone. Don't be worried about that. But no, like, I mean, ultimately, dressing rooms were you know, sacred, essentially. You know, the chat you're having with the boys, showers, matches, you know, having the crack about the days, the weekends, life in general, I suppose, really. But at times, like, there was always one or two, like, and I've always found this in some changing rooms, you might relate to it. One or two, I suppose, that the less talented lads would be the ones to talk most. Yeah. For whatever reason. And, like, they're saying X or Y to the manager and you're like, I can't be listening, like, sort of thing. Not all the time, but you know, plenty of times it happened. Yeah. And they will typically get higher on the stool than, you know, you or me would, essentially, no matter how good you are on the field. Because you're saying the right things and there's no kind of badness about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all, you know, yes sir, no sir sort of thing, as opposed to, you know, I'm doing it this way as opposed to what you're telling me what. Because still going over the bar, it doesn't really matter, you know what I mean? There was always a bit of that. Yeah. And I think for the better players, you know, people would have always said I was hard to manage from managers. But I ask any manager and there was no hardness to manage me. I trained harder than any lads we had, like any lads, all through my career. And inevitably did the job when it had to be done as well. But there was always a little bit of, you know, pulling and dragging along the way as well.
And why was there a feeling that you were hard to manage? Who was saying this?
You'd see it over the years, you know, locals and stuff like that, because, you know, it was different. Obviously, blonde hair, tattoos, and
cool
I had a deal with Adidas for a few years, I had a couple of cars, and all that kind of stuff. I remember back in the day, having the cars from Burke's and Ballinrobe, in fairness to them, for a couple of years. But the first year, my name and the number was on the car, which wasn't great. Like
Your phone number?
No, the number of the garage.
All right.
So I was off doing what I was doing, the car man, flying here, flying there, man, and I was getting phone calls every day from the garage, like, because people were ringing, complaining, who's driving this black View up now the road, man? It's like, sure. Yeah, it was funny, man. It was just good times.
I always thought looking on at that Mayo team that like yourself and Kieran McDonald and like you had your whole own thing going on. Like it was like
a couple of renegades.
Couple like
you would think that from the outside,
yeah.
But from the inside, we just get to train, play matches, and that was it. There was no real, I had a few friends, obviously good friends on the Mayo team, like Kieran Mack. He was very, I suppose elusive.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have seen him. You'd only see him coming to train, going to train and going home. Like there wasn't a whole lot of interactions outside of training. Like, you know what I mean? That was just the nature of it. Like, he did his own thing. We all did our own things essentially.
Yeah.
But when you got to the training field, it was obviously different. And we got a good relationship going in terms of on the field. He kind of knew where I was going to go, and I kind of knew where he was going to kick the ball and stuff. And we only played for maybe 2 or 3 years together. We didn't play for that long.
On team talks, then,
from managers or from
managers or players, Grant that sticks with you from like, geez, that was unreal in the dressing room, or that got me going, or that was
who very good of a I suppose a team talk. I was never one to. I always found if there was a big team talk and you sprinted out, man, you were gassed by the time you stood. Like
like the adrenaline,
Like it was in terms of, I hated the dressing room like before a match. I hated that time before we got on the field.
Why?
Because it's anxious, you're nervy and you're waiting. And now, in fairness, I got to a stage where I believed that, because I would typically, I didn't have too many bad games in Croke Park. Like I had a few, obviously, but a lot of good games.
Yeah.
And I had those nerves and anxiousness beforehand. And I was like, well, you need to have that to play well, sort of thing, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? But it was long. The gaps were long. And I see it now even at club managing myself in terms of you're trying to time a team talk, just warm up team talk. How long is it going to be? Go 8 minutes or 9 minutes? Because I know myself from being a player, that like you lose players after 5 minutes. Like,
oh yeah.
They're just, it depends. Like if you're playing a local rival, you don't really have to say a whole lot. You're going to go out and, try and do up it a little bit for them as opposed to someone else. But in terms of managers, like Mahan was a good talker in the change room. He was bullish, and he was a fairly towering man.
Yeah.
Like he's a big dude. Like, and I think John Morrison was very good. God rest him, up in Armagh. We played Dublin in the semi-final, going back to 2006, I think it was. Yeah. But it was kind of before the game. It was funny because obviously there was hassle over the canal, or was it the canal end? Canal, or the
it was
Hill
the
16
hill,
end.
There was loads of pushing and dragging, and Peter Caffrey
so
was
we warmed up there
lads.
the week before, the Hill 16 side. So we assumed when you go back again, you warm up there again. You know what I mean? Not to know Dublin warm up there every time. So we're in the change rooms, and Brady.
Was it just an accident?
Was it genuine?
Well, Brady, to me, no. It was just, we were going there. Like, but then word had come in before we went out
that you weren't to go.
You can't go there. And Brady was at the front, in fairness to him, David Brady. He said, fuck, like, that's where we're going. And no sooner had we said it, I could see Mickey Moore sort of coming up in a panic, like. And as he was walking, we were gone, out and over, and sure, the rest is history, as a man says.
Who got there first? You or Dubs?
We were there first. And then they came out after us.
Yeah.
And that's when they started driving balls and kicking balls and all that kind of
stuff. So you're both trying to warm up at the same end?
Yeah, pretty much.
It worked for you.
Well, we won the game, but ultimately, and this is the funny thing, because, like, if you watch the game back, like, you'll know that, like, Dublin were far better team than us, like, on the day. Far better. They missed opportunities. We got a couple of scores. When McDonald got a score at the end in front of the Hogan side, like, it's just, it's not a score you see too often.
Unreal.
Yeah.
We came back into it well. Clarkey caught a ball over. Vaughan had a free from way out. David Clark caught it. I think, he might have been 2 feet above the crossbar, like, and pulled it down. So there was a few things like that.
Sorry, you were talking about team talks there.
I was enjoying that.
But there's so many, like, managers that some are calm, like Mickey Moran, very calm, conversational type, you know what I mean? Some, you know, Mahan, as I said, Kevin McStay, you know, you'd have seen him. I had him under 20s, under 21s, and you'd have seen his conversation with Common.
Yeah, I seen clips of that.
He's kind of one that would bring it out in terms of heart and get you going that way. But I think as you know, for younger players, that's understandable. You know what I mean? Some senior players, you know, mightn't be, I suppose, as for it, because, like as I said, it depends on the message, and it kind of depends on how the game is going. You know, we had 9 Mile when I was in DCU. We played a Sigerson final in Parnell Park against Queen's University Belfast. This is in the first year when a lot of the big names were brought into DCU, essentially. And we got to the final, but there was obviously undue pressure on us, like, to win the game. Now, we had a team that would, you know, compete with any county team, like, essentially. But to get it together was proven difficult in terms of gelling, obviously. And I don't know what the score was at half time. It was tight anyway. Tighter than it should have been. Yeah. And I remember that talk beforehand, and I think Cluxton might have had a few words at half time that would, like, I don't recall the exact words, like, but everyone's kind of goose pimples were kind of going, which, you know, it's a good, you know, it's a lift of a chat, you know what I mean? And to be fair, you know, everyone would respect Cluxton and when he's talking, as opposed to if I was talking, you know, you get 5 or 6, you might get there and I'm listening, like, you know what I mean? And yeah, we in the end we won the game, to be fair. So I think there's times where talks can resonate with you. You know, I see it at club level. Obviously, Anthony Moyles, our Kilbride manager, and there's been chats last year. We were playing shite first half, bit of a grilling at half time, and then the team responds. You know, it's obviously a good. It'd be very satisfactory in terms of if you're a manager and you see the team respond to what you're saying, as opposed to, you know, like a county level is so different because no matter what you say to a bunch of lads, like, so if we're playing, I don't know, Tipperary or playing Waterford or whatever tomorrow, and Tipperary are 10 points down at half time, no matter what's said, like, if Waterford are still up for the start of the second half, it's still very difficult for Tipperary. It's just at that level, it's just harder. At club level, you know, you'll see if 5 or 6 lads are off. But at county level, it's very hard to see that drop. And it's not as easy for them to turn it around by whatever chats at half time. Because I think nowadays, a lot of it is player driven. Yeah. Boys would be fucking lads themselves. And you don't really need to be chatting. And particularly the way rivalries are and certain teams, you know what I mean?
Speaking of rivalries, who would have been your biggest rival?
Galway would have been mine all the way growing up.
Always?
Always. I lived pretty much from here to the gate from Galway. There's a bridge in the difference. My mother's from Galway. I have a lot of family living in Galway. My brother lives in Tuam now. A lot of uncles in Tuam and a couple in Galway as well. And I went to school in Galway. All my schooling was in Galway, boarding school in St. Mary's, and did a year in Jarlath's. Played a lot of soccer in Galway. I would have had a lot of affiliation with Galway.
Yeah.
Was it all the sweeter then?
Yeah, I enjoyed playing Galway. It was one of them games, and I was glad looking back. I had very good days against Galway, pretty much the majority of my career. A couple of heavy losses now, not score wise, but you know, tough losses, Connacht finals and stuff like that. But like, you know, the boys who were playing that time, you know, Jeff Allen, Joyce, Savage.
That was a good Galway team.
Man, they're just like, I used to watch Joyce and Tuam regularly, like poor Joyce. And you'll have all seen good players playing, like, and you know, I've seen plenty as well, but he's by far the best club footballer I've ever seen playing.
Wow.
What a player. Poor Joyce. Yeah, I used to watch him with Killearn regularly, man, in Tuam. It was a bit like watching Cooper Goose playing with Kerry. Yeah. Because every ball he got, man, was a score, no matter where he got it. And he was, you know, and a good lad too. PJ's a nice fella.
And any personal rivalries on the field?
There would have been a few over the years. I did have a couple of Ricey and Tyrone over the years. We would have had plenty of clashes.
I imagine he wasn't easy.
Yeah, football-wise, he would have been okay. But, you know, he liked to talk a little bit.
Would you have been a talker back?
Do you know what? I would typically generally score and then talk. Before I'd be chatting. Ricey would have won. Thomas Sullivan, Kerry would be another one. Good player. Damien Burke, Galway. just good players.
You had a couple of rivals.
Good players.
Was Ricey ever up to any mad shit? Like, would he because we had heard about
Do you know what he did that I never experienced previously to that, man? He was very bad for pinching. Pinching. But that's a real irritating pinching now.
All through the game.
Not like real squeeze job, like the one that'll get your heat going into your face sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where? And
Legs,
constant,
ribs?
everywhere. Chest, nipples, anywhere he can get you.
Was he wearing gloves, no?
Yeah, the gloves on as well, yeah.
He still get a good great grip here.
Yeah.
All through the game.
He was cute. Yeah. He was cute. And he was tough, he was tough as well. There was another one, Ryan McCluskey from Fermanagh was another one. He was tight and he was a good player. And they had a guy in Toronto, or Fermanagh, should I say, going back. Niall Bogue, I think his name was. Bogey is what I would have called him around that time. But there was all this talk coming up to the game about this. He was doing interviews left, right and centre about me, marking me and all this kind of stuff. And it's one of those things, I do watch it even today. I think, I don't know, was it COVID times? No, it wasn't COVID. Going back anyway, because we played Fermanagh and there was a draw.
Right.
Which was probably not a great result for us at the time, you know what I mean? They were coming through the back door through whatever it was. And we were obviously expected to beat them.
Yeah.
And I think it was a draw game or whatever like that. And then the replay was in Croke Park, obviously. And I think the first 4 or 5, every ball that came into me anyways, I was just getting a turn and I was scoring. I think I had 4 or 5 points from play in the first maybe 12, 13 minutes against him. And he was just like one of those who would just keep at you and keep an eye on you, man. It was just one of those things, man. And
even when you scored,
you can't just turn around. Yeah, and I've never understood some players that just never give up, no matter how bad things might be going. And they're still going. You're looking like, geez.
He was still grigging you the whole
still
way.
At it, still trying to mark and still pushing and just in fairness to him, fair play. I'll say.
It's what you probably want one of your
There was a
players
few of them now out there over the years, but in terms of good rivalry, McCluskey was
he was up there.
Yeah, and Ricey obviously was. Ricey was a dog, man.
What's the most memorable game you played?
I'd have to say the 2006 game with Dublin.
Yeah,
overall, yeah, I would imagine it was. Just for, I suppose, for the way the game went. Obviously, winning it. Obviously, I was in college at the time in Dublin. I would have had a lot of Dublin friends. I was living with Bernard Brogan at the time, Ross McConnell.
That's a sweet one.
Yeah, it was, to be fair. Yeah, it was just one of those things. And I went to a pub after it in Castleknock. I forget the name of it now.
Oh, the Bell or the Carpenter?
The Bell.
Great little knowledge, John.
I don't know why I know so many pubs in Dublin.
And this is the funny thing, because it just shows if you get carried away. Because obviously it was going to be packed with dubs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, why did you go there?
I was meeting a friend of mine.
Please tell me you had the Mayo gear on.
Of course, sure. I was going from a match. And I wasn't long in there. And there was a bit of commotion going on around the place, whatever like that. And I was sitting with a mate of mine. And it was typical of me. You just do something you're not meant to be doing, essentially, at the time.
Go on.
Even after winning. And the manager or the owner came over, or the manager or whatever, and said, "No, how'd you go? You can't be here."
Get away.
Yeah, that's fact.
Did you go?
Yeah, off we went.
How many pints did you get? One?
If I had one itself. I don't think it was that long there now. It was just one of those things, yeah.
That's unreal.
They were getting a bit...
They're out for blood.
A bit rowdy after it.
Were you getting it off the Dublin fans?
Yeah, I'd say it was pretty harmless, though. I wouldn't have thought it was anything
But the manager of the bar said,
But you wouldn't know, man. You wouldn't know.
He took that loss very bad.
You wouldn't know. But I'd say that game, from start to finish, it was just a big... it was a huge win for us in terms of everything was Dublin. But as I said to you, if you ever get a chance to watch it back, you'll see it. They were well ahead of us.
Yeah.
And just literally stopped.
Dogged it up.
Then we started clawing, got a few scores and came back into it. And McDonald got that massive score at the end to win it for us. It was an unbelievable score. And
what's the build-up like for the final then?
The build-ups, it's and that was a lot of it down in Mayo, because obviously it's huge down there. No more than Tipperary, I'm sure. But when you haven't won it for so long, the bigger it gets, man. It's just everyone's talking about it. And we, I think even in today's game, I think this, there's probably backroom members of staff who are talking to players of how to deal with this and what not to do and what to do. Where we were just embrace everything. talk to everyone, and we'll be here in City West after. We'll see you there, and we'll do this and we'll do that, and we'll drink for the week, and we'll go home, and all that kind of stuff. That's all it was.
There's a shorter lead in now.
It is. It's a lot shorter
Which
now.
I don't know if that helps or actually makes it worse. I don't know. Like, you would have probably won the semi-final and probably had 3 weeks of fucking lads getting carried away like that. Just
well, you'd have your night after, obviously.
Yeah,
and then you'd be back training. But ultimately, there's press stuff, and I think teams handle it better now. They're trying to get the press out of the way 2 days after a semi-final.
Yeah.
And they're not sending, the me, or they're not sending McDonald, they're not sending Dylan. They're sending 1 or 2 cornerbacks.
Send up some,
you can
send
see
up
it.
some lad who'll give me.
But you see it yourselves. You see it.
Yeah.
You see it.
So
It lessens pressure on other lads.
Yeah.
You don't want to be seeing big spreads in the paper.
It's becoming impossible
Where some players didn't mind it. You know what I mean?
It's becoming impossible for the media to actually get any access to players now.
It's harder.
It's gone.
Yeah,
totally
it
the other
is.
way.
It is, and I think that it's very much game based now. People aren't seeing the personal side of players anymore. They're only seeing what's on the telly, or when they play matches. That's it. There's no, and anything they're saying at there might be press days in Croke Park for, I don't know, sponsorship or whatever it may be, and it's just typical general.
It's harmless enough.
What everyone is saying. But that's the thing. They're being coached that.
Yeah.
They're being told essentially what to say.
Wait, do you think the build-up had an effect on you?
Well, I'll give you an example. So 2006, we stayed in the end of the M50. Airport's on your left, of the hotel straight in front of you.
Clayton, is it? Yeah.
The Clayton, is it?
Yeah.
At the very end of the M50.
Yeah.
So essentially, we said we'll stay there for 2006.
The night before.
And it was flooded with supporters.
Oh, jeez.
Flooded.
So
we were walking down, having food, and supporters, the same as you're all here in this room.
Having a few pints.
Chatting away, and it was wild, man. It was a wild setup for the 06 final. Wild setup.
Would you have always came down the night before? Like?
Yeah, every time.
Yeah.
Every time, yeah.
Would you normally stay somewhere more out of the way, kind
We
of?
stayed in Finnstown House 1 year. Carton House. We stayed in Johnstown House. Johnstown House is a bit of a drive.
Yeah.
We stayed there for semi-finals, I think. A bit of a drive in the morning.
Yeah,
It's a little bit of a drive. It is. But like, we've always stayed. Like, we like, even if you go to some league games, like you could be in Cork, depending on the time of game.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was times like, you're training there. We got to a stage, and it depends who's managing. But you have to be at training. So you're getting to Luke and Spa there for maybe 4 o'clock, hopping in the bus, arriving training at 7 o'clock. Train at 7:30 to 9, 9:30, and then you're hopping the bus back 1 o'clock. You're in Lucan.
Cheers.
And then you're heading off home. That went to twice a week.
Jesus.
There used to be a good cohort in Dublin training.
Yeah.
Do your Tuesday, maybe go down then on the Friday altogether, which is fine.
Some insisted you go.
But then it went twice a week.
Oh, fuck that.
Which was
heavy
tough.
going.
Tough. Yeah, you wouldn't do it.
Tell us, did you ever get in trouble when you were playing?
On the field or off the field?
Either.
On or off?
Nah. No, never.
Go on.
Look at it. I suppose it depends on what you regard as trouble, like.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I don't want, I have to ask about the celebration with the jersey. Like, I assume you didn't get in trouble for that, is the wrong word.
No, I didn't get in trouble for it, but it wasn't.
Sorry, for people who don't know what we're talking about, do you want to explain?
The Michael Jackson shirt.
Yeah.
Look, you can obviously read up a newspaper and check out whatever it was, but it went back to, I was off at the time, I was in college or whatever at the time, and obviously Michael Jackson had died, so that was all over the news. I was sitting on the couch, obviously glued to the news, any news or whatever, it didn't really matter what it was. And I had said I'll have a bit of crack now with this on the weekend, essentially. But I was on the bench for the game. Remember that? I was on the bench.
What game was it again?
Galway, final.
Connacht's final.
Yeah. So I'd broken my that bone, is it
By your thumb,
or whatever it was, in a league game.
Yeah.
About, I don't know, a number of weeks beforehand. Long story short, anyway, a number of weeks beforehand. And I was in a cast. And then I was out, we were out in college, whatever, in a bit of crack. And I fell.
Oh, jeez.
And I couldn't land on my hand, and I landed on my elbow, and I popped my shoulder.
Oh, fucking hell.
So I delayed the comeback with my hand. So coming into the Connacht semi-final, and then kind of final, obviously.
Yeah.
So I was on the bench. So that's kind of, if you allude to trouble or whatever like that. A misstep, shall we say. But anyway, so kind of final came anyway, game came on, and I remember doing the shirt the night before out on the table, scribbled it in.
It's fucking brilliant.
They say it was wrongly spelled by all accounts.
R.I.P. Michael Jackson.
I did say it was spelled wrongly, but sure, however.
Micheál Jackson.
I wasn't paying attention in school, obviously, at that time.
College was going well, Mark.
Oh, stop. But anyway, just went up, bit of crack, got the thing done, scored a goal, blah, blah, blah. And that same evening, it was funny.
So you ran over to the sideline and lifted up your jersey?
Sure, yeah.
I ran out, I scored the goal, lifted it up, and I didn't see a huge amount looking. Yeah. So I lifted it up. I kept lifting it up.
And the t-shirt says R.I.P. Micheál Jackson.
Till it was seen. It was seen enough anyway. And funny enough, the game got tight after that, and me and Dylan were messing around with the ball on the sideline. And I gave it back to him anyway. He gave it away. I kid you not. And they lurried the ball in long to Michael Meehan, and it was a goal.
Oh,
and it was level. And luckily we got the ball up and we got a free, and Andy Moran hit a short and Paddy Gardner put it over the bar. Won the game by a point.
Yeah.
But that same evening, I was going to Manchester that night. I wasn't staying around Galway. Galway after a kind of final isn't, you wouldn't be hanging around really, like.
Yeah.
Not with a bleached blonde head. No chance. No. Get out of town.
After revealing it.
I went anyway. Didn't ping Gambit. I went to Manchester for the night and was over. A couple of friends of mine were blah, blah, and came back on the Tuesday. Ready to go train on the Tuesday. And I literally hadn't checked the gear bag for the t-shirt, like around nothing. I didn't even look at the gear bag. But it wasn't in it anyway, long story short. Got to training, and oh man, he was like, it was all over the paper the next morning, obviously, front of the paper, like. And
it's fucking brilliant.
He pulls me over and training, I'd say 40 minutes he was on the side. In terms of the t-shirt, like what's the deal? Like, I mean, you're taken away from the team, and you're taken away from Pather, and taken away from this and that.
Connacht's final.
This went on for a while, and look, I suppose in hindsight, did I regret it? No, it's a bit of crack, sure.
But you know what?
It was good crack.
And you had to think of it at that, because ultimately, like, there's zero crack now in terms of players or doing daft things or whatever. Oh man, it's wild.
Would you have always worn a t-shirt under your jersey anyway?
I'd have worn some sort of Under Armour thing or something like that. I would
have.
You wore
a t-shirt especially, kind of.
Well, I wrote on it, obviously. I wouldn't generally write on them.
He didn't wake up and find it.
Yeah, it was just, look, it was one of those things. It was just, it was like, you're obviously thinking, if you didn't have it, would you have scored a goal? Maybe not. Who knows?
Gave you an extra bit of something.
Made you stand out, though. Do you know what, Mila? Here we are talking about
the goal won the game for us, man. The goal won the game for us.
Well, how did you know it was time to retire?
Well, I didn't retire, technically. I've never retired.
You're still available.
I was retired.
Yeah.
I was retired. No, essentially what happened was James Horan took over, obviously, and picked a team for, I think it was Sligo going to the Connacht final.
2012,
picked a couple of lads. I didn't agree with it in the semi-final, essentially.
You obviously weren't picked.
No, I was on the bench. I had kind of trained well after that semi-final, and felt I should have played or started the Connacht final, and didn't, and that was it. Told him I'm not committing to it from here on in, and that was that.
Did you come on in that Connacht final?
No, I didn't talk for. Told him on the Wednesday.
Yeah,
told him on the Wednesday.
That's it.
What?
Rang him back on the Wednesday.
What does he say, like? Grant?
No, he was trying to meet me and stuff like that, but I was kind of in a different frame of mind. Like, I was like, nah. Adamant to not. I was just not. Like, I felt that no matter what I did, he wasn't going to pick me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Whether that was right or wrong, who's to know?
And as the year went on, did you think, fuck, will I go back, or will I try and go back?
Well, I tried to go back.
Yeah.
But it didn't
happen.
Transpire. No.
How did that? What do you mean try to go back? Did you give him a ring, or what way did it?
No, I didn't ring him. A fella rang me, kind of a middleman sort of thing, and said, will you meet me? I said, well, I met him in the Shelbourne, chat to him. And at the end of the conversation, I said, yeah, sure, tell him I'll go back or whatever. And that was it. Didn't hear anything after that.
Fuck.
James Horan never rang you?
No.
How do you feel about that looking back?
I'd be frustrated,
Yeah.
but it was my error. It wasn't anything to do with James Horn. It was simply manager didn't fancy a player for whatever particular games or whatever, and that was it. Where I was probably thinking he just didn't fancy me as the player,
Yeah.
essentially, and I didn't see any light.
Were you one of them players because you'd started all the time and you were probably the main man a lot of the time? Were you one of those lads who I just can't do?
Well, I didn't
back.
think I could. Yeah, I didn't think I could. No, I genuinely didn't. I was like, "There's no way I can do that."
What age were you?
30. No, I don't know what age it was. 12, 43 now. It was 12, 33 maybe, was it?
Yeah.
Give or take, 32, 33. I wasn't old. I was young.
Yeah.
I had another. I probably would have, been part of those 4 or 5 Dublin All-Irelands as well if I stayed around.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have the mindset in the first year.
To be an Impact sub? Or
No, I couldn't really get my head around it.
There was obviously no going back then. You're like...
No, because I wasn't ringing, and sure, he wasn't going to ring either. It was one of those things that just feathered out then.
And did you go to games and stuff?
Yeah, I went to all the games. All the games at Croke Park. Yeah.
What's it like watching?
First year was tricky enough.
Yeah.
But after that, it was grand. I was getting older as well, you know what I mean? And there was different lads in there, and, it was just one of those things, and I wouldn't say it disrespectfully about other players, that I would have felt I was better than 1 or 2 lads who played in front of me, in certain games. That's just, they might say the same thing about me on certain weeks, and that's the nature of sport.
You have to have self-belief to go out in Croke Park.
No, you do,
but you have to back yourself.
If you're not getting a fair whack at it, which I would have felt, then that's kind of I would have thought after 10, 12, 13 years,
you were due one.
Well, there's a conversation in terms of, look, this is what we're thinking.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that there. And that was just, did I rush it a bit and throw the toys out of the pram? Yeah, I probably did, essentially. And looking back, should I have done it? No. But, that's bygone sort of thing. You know what I mean? That's the way it was.
What about the club?
My old club, Shrule, my home club.
Yeah. Oh, when you transferred to...
I went to Parnell's, obviously, because I was working up there.
Yeah.
And when did you finish playing club football?
I finished playing club football about a year after I finished playing at my own.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, obviously, you would have been plenty good enough to stay playing senior club football.
Yeah, I would. It was just... I played a year or two, actually. I played a couple of years.
Were you just sick of it?
No, I'm never sick of it.
Yeah.
It's the one thing I've never been sick of is football and ball. Never. I play pretty much every day at my young lad, as much as I can.
Yeah.
You feel, you still try and do things.
Still have an old step in you.
You're doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, my old club, I had great times with Shrule when I played with Shrule. Great times. It was we went from junior 2 to junior 1 to intermediate to senior, all county finals. Now we lost them all, albeit, but that's how we progressed. Essentially. Very small club, well ran, good facilities, just a good cohort of lads. Willing to, But I the difference in the game. And you think about it in today's world, we might have a Conor final on a Sunday. I'd be sitting in the local pub with the Shrule lads, I'd be drinking my waddy or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's a problem today.
Yes.
You couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I mean? You can't
go back to your clubs and...
No, but you can't. If you're playing Tipperary tomorrow, the month to final, you can't be in Clonmel there in the pub with the 2 Johnnies having a glass of Coke.
It'd be...
Yeah.
You won't play. No chance. No.
It'd also be all over the county.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
What's he doing? Because it's just associated that you're having a pint or whatever.
Yeah.
You're not drinking. You know what I mean? That's the nature of it. That's the difference. It grows so quick, and you just things change.
The last question we're going to ask is today's game. Obviously, the rules are changing. Gaelic football looks to be in a good place now. Is there anything you'd change about the game nowadays? Bar it being zero crack.
About today's game would be brilliant for my time.
You'd love the
as forwards.
Yeah.
Great. 3 inside, bit of space. Do what you have to do, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Similar to what it was in my time. You typically take on your man. You may have taken another one, but you'll get a shot off then as such, as opposed to having 10 back. But in terms of change and stuff, look, I suppose the one thing that'd be a little bit frustrating, and I can see it at club level, it's you have all these rules, man, and one referee is simply not able to handle them all. All you're hearing is this sideline shouting about 3 up, this fella shouting 3 up on this side, and it's impossible to see. Rule wise, they're all probably okay. I'd like to see the keepers get involved a little bit more.
Yeah,
I think they're a little bit stagnant.
Hard time be a keeper.
It is, because you can't, you can barely get the ball, like, essentially, unless you're up the field. And some counties get away with it because they're, bringing out forwards, playing them in goal and stuff like that. And at club level, it's like, it's hard to manage that every single game. Some games, fine, but other games, it's difficult to do. And that's probably one thing that I would look at.
It's hard for referees. We see it particularly in some league games where the ref doesn't have a linesman, so he's a right.
Yeah, we have it. Or one of our subs would have the flag.
Yeah,
it's poor.
Umpires now.
Like I thought it was mad. I seen a referee arrive on the last day with 2 umpires, and I was like, "Jeez, I'd get them run the line before I get them to umpire."
And one on each side.
It's hard, isn't it?
No, like club level. In fairness to refs,
I'd roar for we'd roar for everything. We'd roar 3 up all day. Like, I'd have one lad just doing it.
We do that, but in terms of Meath, like,
so you're managing out in County
I'm
Meath,
coaching in Kilbride area. Anthony Miles is the manager, but like, it's, how would you say it? It's very difficult in terms of, because anyone who shouts on the sideline, like, you're gone.
Yeah.
Straight over.
Well,
and the funny thing about us, while I would have probably a distinctive voice when I'm talking, when I'm roaring, I don't. So
you've done enough roaring.
It can be any of the group, and the ref will come over, and I'll just be like that. Who's the manager? Oh, he's the manager. Like, never go to me. Tell your team to calm down. Tell your team to calm down. But no, it's tough for officials. It's very tough.
A fella had a good one
Very
last
tough.
week. He said to me on the hurling matches. He said, "Do you know what would be a good idea if you going forward?" He said, "Go on to O'Neill's, buy their club gear, go down and start roaring at the referee." He said,
The black
stand,
stuff.
stand near there,
Yeah,
start
yeah,
roaring
yeah.
at him. He said, "You should get 13 yard free."
There's ways, and the funny thing about club stuff, like, you put so much work into it, and you see a ref then who may not have a linesman, may not have an umpire, man, and maybe a big game at some point where a score might go this way or that way against you.
Yeah.
Just for the simple reason, and that's frustrating for players.
That's hard to accept.
Oh man, it's difficult. It's difficult to do, but look,
We'll get there.
we'll get there. Right? I won't be worrying about them.
Mark, it's an absolute pleasure, lad.
Lads, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks very much.
Fair play to you. Lovely hurling.
This is On The Bench with the 2 Johnnies with Board Gosh Energy. You've got to love the weekend. On The Bench drops on Fridays. There's loads of cracking GAA to watch Saturday and Sunday. And with our sponsors, Board Gosh Energy's Weekend Smart Plan, we get night rates all weekend long. Lovely stuff altogether.